Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. My name is of course Conrad and today we're going to be continuing on with some BioShock. In the last episode we had already become a big daddy. We had protected a little sister and now I think we're going to get Fontaine or Atlas. Just whichever you prefer to call him. I think he is known as Fontaine, but he was obviously Atlas for a huge part of this story. So I'm not sure what's going to happen. If we're going to get him now, then I'm not sure what next bit will hold. But we're just going to go through. I don't think there's anything we can search in here. I've got full napalm ammo. I could get some ammo. Get a couple of shotgun rounds. We'll just hack this. Just so it's a little bit, not much cheaper, but a little bit. We'll get some machine gun. Frag grenade we don't need. Incendiary bolt, that could be quite useful because they are pretty good against them, so we'll take that. We could get some anti-personal rounds maybe, and that's us full, no money left, so I'm just gonna quickly make sure everything's reloaded just before we go into a fight. I think we're better off. Just so I'm not sitting trying to reload in combat. Won't be very good. So yeah, we'll keep the frag grenade out there. Although I think the heat-seeking missile might be better. But okay, so we're now ready. I hope we won't die too many times doing this. I'm not sure how strong he's going to be. I've never ever played this before in my life, so I'm really enjoying it so far. It's very good. I'm liking the story. It's quite in depth. There's a lot to do. I'm just curious as to when we complete this what the second one will be like. Oh, here we go.
I remember when me and the crowd put you in that sub. You were no more than 2. You were my ace in the hole, but you were also the closest thing I ever had to a son. And that's why this hurts. Betrayal, kid. Life ain't strictly business.
I've got my camera out. I want to try to take a quick picture of him. I think that will maybe find a weakness, hopefully. I don't see him. Come on, Fontaine. That's Fontaine? No. What? Drain Fontaine of his atom. Okay.
Go! Go now! Hit him with the needle!
Okay, so drain some atom from him. Wow.
Come and get it, Duke!
Oh, he is super fast. Can't take a picture of him. Okay, so it seems pretty weak right now, but obviously he's gonna get a lot stronger. Okay, I'm out of ammo, so now we're going to... That's not bad. Okay, next trap bolt. So now he's up here, so we need to drain him again.
This is what I get!
So, I believe obviously we're going to fight him the whole time.
I got more than enough mugs to
Whoa. So now these might go down. That's crazy. Whoa, he's super fast.
Come on! Get back here!
This is the way to beat him, then... Okay, so now we need to quickly go in. That was his vulnerable in the chair. Draining that carbon. Absolutely mental.
I'm gonna bury you.
Where are you, Fontaine? Okay, so we'll put some around here.
Come and get it! I'll put you down! Come and get it!
Whoa! So powerful.
Need a minute.
So we're gonna get mad upgrades this time.
I had you built. I sent you topside. I called you back, showed you what you was capable of. Even that life you thought you had, that was something I dreamed up and had tattooed inside your head. Now, if you don't call that family, I don't know what is. And now,
Yeah, go on, little sisters. Yeah. Yeah, he's dead now, thank God. So the fight wasn't too difficult. I thought it would have been a lot harder, but
They offered you everything, yes. And in return, you gave them what I have come to expect of you. Brutality.
okay, so we should have obviously saved more of them and they would have probably been more friendly, but
You took what you wanted. All the atom, all the power. And the Rapture trembled. But in the end, even the Rapture was not enough for you. Your father was terrified the world would try to steal the secrets of his city. But not you, for now you have stolen the terrible secrets of the world.
okay, so that was unexpected. I really thought there would have been more to the game, but it seems we've completed it. This video is pretty short, it's only about 10 minutes long, which is a shame. I was hoping the fight would have been a bit longer or there'd have been more to it, something like that, but I'm not really sure what to do now. We've completed number 1, so I think we'll go to number what that's all about. These credits are extremely long, so you'll just skip that because there's no point in watching it all. So I've done, that's me completed the game. So I'm gonna go and have a look at the museum, and I might see about what the director's commentary is like. It did say it was spoilers for games, so I didn't watch them all. A guided tour of ideas. Okay, so we had a quick look. We did look in here, and we'd seen these. I never managed to see this though, with the big guns, which is quite strange. I don't know what that is, I can't read it. Oh right, okay. It may be hard to imagine that this creature, whose job was to reclaim Adam from corpses around Rapture, was the earliest iteration of the idea behind the Little Sister. Since the Gatherer generated absolutely no sympathy from players, the team experimented with concepts for featuring a number of animals, including the infamous dog in a wheelchair, and later a grotesque miniature humanoid. Finally, a concept sketch of a deformed child inspired the eureka moment responsible for the Little Sisters. Nice. What are these ones? Slow Prothum. Irrational's internal name for this prototype Big Daddy variant, who mauled players with an enormous hook and fired iron bearings from a barrel, stood for slow projectile fucked up melee. He survived long enough to become a fully functional AI, but the team eventually caught him to focus on polishing the other Big Daddy types. This model later appeared in BioShock 2 as the Rumbler, throwing miniature turrets instead of cannonballs. Ah. The original model for the bouncer type of Big Daddy featured a flat-headed drill at the end of each arm. The Big Daddies were envisioned as the builders of Rapture, with weapons modified from tools they would have used in its construction. When the Gatherers were reimagined as Little Sisters, one of the bouncer's drills was changed to a gloved hand so the two characters could interact with each other. Aha, that's pretty cool. Moving from grotesque to human was a slow process. While early concepts saw the melee enemies grew monstrous arms, the team had trouble conveying how someone who had spliced to become a marksman would appear. Early splicer concept art. Wow. Wow, this is crazy. Whoa, what is this? Stitchy, the first splicer that Irrational created for BioShock. Stitchy was used in many early concept demos and was fully functional in-game with kinematics, hit reactions and voiceover. It took us that long to realise he wasn't a good model, says lead artist Sean Robertson. This is probably the worst abortion that Irrational has ever made. Wow, look at it. It's massive. Wow. Early splicer concept art. These are some of the first sketches to show BioShock's enemies moving in a more human-like direction. Artists coupled that approach with the idea that Adam deformed the body in a way that related to its intended function. For instance, a giant grotesque arm on a melee enemy. These are absolutely crazy. Early splicer concept art. These are some of the first concept sketches to show BioShock's enemies moving in a more human-like direction. Artists coupled that approach with the idea that Adam deformed the body in a way that related to it. Okay. So that just said the exact same, and I read it twice. Prey Yam Hand. Before solidifying into the function around Adam, Irrational experimented with the idea of it being an external injected substance. Here you can see us playing around with Adam being mechanically injected, said lead artist Sean Robertson. So the Splicer's got vials of it on his belt, The model was created but never made it into the game in any form. Wow. These are really something else. So that'll be a splicer too. Alright, these are early concepts for the Rosie type of Big Daddy who, like the bouncer, was envisioned as a construction worker who had been repurposed as a protector for the gatherers. Wow, and there is it coloured. So that's pretty cool. It's good to see like where they were going with the game and the ideas they had. Created around the same time as Stitchy and the Grenadier, the Splicer was dubbed the Hooker because of her weapon of choice. The concept evolved into the Spider Splicer when it was decided that Splicer models could fill any behaviour role, and the Hooker model later became the Baby Jane Splicer. Wow. That's mental. Some of these are absolutely insane. Look at this guy. Oh, he's big. Grenadier Splicer. This guy, Fontaine Splicer, was an early Grenadier from the same period of development as Stitchy and Hooker. He was a guy who spliced to carry around giant grenades and throw them at you, says lead artist Sean Robertson. The model was built and textured but never animated. Wow, imagine having to fight one of them. That's crazy. Okay. Neptune's Bounty concept art. This area appears in the Neptune's Bounty level of BioShock, but the bodies floating in the ocean were caught late in development when their cast shadows proved too distracting from the action in the room. Oh wow. Look at that one. That's a room that obviously never made it to it. Early environmental study. The location depicted here was built for the Vision demo of BioShock, a small level demonstrating several of the key elements of the game such as Big Daddies and Gatherers. Wow. This is, I like the idea that they've put in here. Hanging sea life. Not as much as a cut concept as an Easter egg for observant museum visitors. These sea creatures can be seen swimming past the player's view during the bathysphere ride down to Rapture in BioShock's opening sequence. Ah! Okay, I never even noticed half of these. Well, that's pretty cool. Fleet Hall concept art. This early concept for Sander Cohen's Fleet Hall was created after level building had begun. When the designer found they were having difficulty conceptualizing the theatre space, it was one of the earliest spaces built for BioShock, and many of the assets used in the museum come from that area. And that's nice. That would have been pretty cool, but it's a shame they didn't put it in. Wow. This was the first image that really captured all the visual elements that made BioShock. BioShock, a large view of the ocean, the aquatic lighting scene, and the elegant Art Deco design elements. Without the image, BioShock would have been a radically different beast. Whoa, look at this thing. He is nuts. Yam Hand model. This character, derisively called Yam Hand around Irrational Games, was the poster child of the conceptual phase that preceded the decision to go with human enemies. I'd point out the drawings behind the model, says lead artist Sean Robertson. You can see the top one got built, but the other two informed the design as well. As we trended more toward humanoids, the Scooby monsters got goofier and less scary. Ah. I think that would have been pretty freaky if it jumped out on you, like. Because BioShock, obviously with the Atom, has turned everyone crazy, so it would make sense that they would have mutated as well, to be fair. Wow, look at that. Early creature concepts. There were some of the earliest pieces done for BioShock, from back when Irrational was still working on SWAT 4. The only concrete ideas at that point were an undersea city and biological experimentation, so early concepts focused on these themes. Jesus. That's just the same. Whoa, look at that. Slime from slug, blood on the inside of glass pores, tarnished brass. That's pretty cool. Early Big Daddy concept art. This was the fourth Protector concept. Originally created with an organic slug attached to it, a model was started but never completed, and the team narrowed their focus to 3 and finally just 2 Big Daddy types. I still like this as a Protector, says artist Rob Walters. We started modelling and I rarely pushed to get it in, even as a static model on the floor, but it never made it. Now that would have been pretty cool. I think that would have been absolutely insane to fight. And wow, that guy's huge. Missing link model. The character is essentially the missing link between the grotesque early designs and the human splicers that appeared in BioShock. This is the last bad model we did before moving on to what actually went into the shipping game, says lead artist Sean Robertson. After playing with him for a while, we just said, why don't we use humans instead? I always thought of these as Scooby-Doo monsters because they were too inhuman to invoke empathy. I mean, okay. And nothing. It's probably the toilets. Sub-Bay concept art. This is a concept sketch depicting what would later become Submarine Bay, an area which housed an important scene for Atlas. Okay. So I noticed in the game, it came to me that there was an area that we didn't get to go to. Now, I don't know if it's a secret area or if you have to do something to get to it, but it just clicked to me there. Big Daddy concept art. This is an early concept depicting a Big Daddy bursting through a wall, which inspired the audio log in the Big Daddy training grounds area about a rogue Big Daddy. The player then encountered him at the end of the level. Huh. Yeah. I remember that. That guy was mental. Okay, so that was the museum, that was all the stuff, we've looked at it all. It's a really nice game and I can't wait to see this guy in BioShock 2. He's probably going to be insane and pretty difficult to beat. But I'm up for the challenge and I hope yous join me on it because this game was absolutely fantastic. I hope yous enjoyed it as well. I know that it was a bit late that I played this game, but anyway, thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed it, please leave a like, subscribe, turn your notification bell on, and then you will be able to see when I next come out with a video, when I start the next series, BioShock 2. It'll probably be, when you see this, it'll be the next day, I think. But this was absolutely brilliant. It's a shame that, you know, it was only a 10-minute fight at the end, but anyway. Thank you for watching, and goodbye!